and gentlemen, to another episode of the Expert to Authority show. And today I'm here with the one and only Ben Chai, winner of the GREET Award, the GTeX GREET Award 2022.
Yay.
We are doing, as you can see, he cannot contain his happiness and joy in showing the award. Is uncontainable. It's uncontainable. And this is a part of a series that we are doing to introduce you to the award winners within GTeX and also to learn from them, in particular, what they did to win the award and what lesson you can take for your business and your life. So before we're going to talk about grit, we are going to talk about overcoming challenges because, shall we say, Ben, you had a heck of a year in 2022.
Yeah, it's probably a year I never want to go through again.
Mm. And
Like,
sometimes we have these moments in life, and but you didn't give up. You kept going through, and so let's start before we go into deeper into the situations and some of the things that happened, what you did to overcome these challenges. Just introduce yourself a bit more, like what's your business, what is that you do on a day-to-day basis, and who you are, and then we can go into the topic of the conversation.
yeah, so hi everyone, my name is Ben Chai. I'm what some people call an entrepreneur because I like to look at things and improve them and create new businesses and find teams to help me run those businesses and then move on to find another business. So currently I'm working within the property field and also building a new educational company. So those are the two main ones at the moment. Previous businesses have been sold, or we've had to, due to various challenges, had to let them go. So that's me. Follow me on Ben Chai Official on Instagram. Yay! Because there's lots of great business content on my Instagram channel and crazy raps that I do.
Absolutely. In fact, the link is in the description, so you can immediately go and follow Ben Chai. So Ben, now let's talk about last year. Is there, as we mentioned at the beginning, you had a heck of a year that definitely you don't want to repeat.
No. Even talking about it makes me want to go and hide under my duvet again.
Is there what kind of challenges have you, or if you can pick one or two challenges that we can talk about and then filter for lessons on how you overcame them? Let's start. Let's pick one. I mean, we
Yeah.
got quite a few to choose from.
Yeah, there were financial, business, health, you know, family. Just pick one. I guess the year kind of started off with me going to Mexico, and then like I suddenly had eye issues, and I had a tennis injury from Mexico, and then when I came back to the UK, I had the doctors had a look at my eye, and they saw that I've got what we call a floater, which is a little black thing that I can see just there. And they wanted to make sure it wasn't bad or anything, and so it wasn't bad. But then 3 months later, I found that I was finding it more difficult to see, and so I went back to a different person and found that it actually was cataracts. And they didn't pick it up when I went to the eye place. Which I was a bit annoyed about. So that kind of like, yeah, not being able to see was a real pain. I had to get some surgery, which because I didn't have health insurance, which I now do, but then I didn't, so that cost me only 9 grand, and now I can't, even though they fixed my long sight vision. When I'm using something like a mobile phone, I need to have glasses to do that. So yeah, let's talk about this.
Yeah, let's start from this. And what I would love to know at that time, because the risk of losing your eyesight, of not being able to see anymore. Uh, I can't even imagine how difficult must have been, just that thought. what were you going through? What was going through your mind while you were going through the different doctors and you couldn't see properly and you got diagnosed? You knew that you had to have surgery. What was going through your mind in that moment?
Um, really, oh crap. That's what goes through my mind. I don't have I don't have this personality that is constantly afraid of these things. I was just thinking, oh, I wonder how I'll be able to operate if I can't see at all, and so on. And you know, the cataracts that I had, because normally you can live with them for quite a while, but it was right in the center of my eyes, which was what was the problem. Was a lot of people have cataracts on the side of their eyes,
Mm-hmm.
so that was the problem. And then post the surgery, I no longer can read on computers and phones, and that's actually where I do most of my work. So I was thinking, maybe I shouldn't have had the surgery. And also, I had to go to Greece to do a play there, and I met a friend, and I totally forgot that I'd met her father 3 years before, 4 years before COVID, who is the inventor of LASIK surgery. He invented laser eye surgery.
Oh, wow.
And if I had gone to see him, he would have been able to fix my eyes, and I would have been able to read, because in the UK we don't have certain kinds of lenses. We adopt things a little later, and they do. So they could have actually fixed it so that I could have long and short vision. Yeah, I mean, I can still do it. He said, well, we can do eye surgery again, but I didn't feel that was, because my eyes had just gone through surgery. I didn't think it was a great thing to do surgery a second time.
Yeah.
But I can still go back at the moment. At least I now have an option to do one of his.
I'm curious. I'm curious now. While you were, the fact that you couldn't like read close to a screen, or a lot of your work, like a lot of people nowadays, is just in front of a laptop or in front of a mobile phone.
Yeah.
How running businesses, because you run multiple businesses, you had multiple businesses and so on. How did it affect you in the ability to work? And two, what have you thought? Because I know you're always looking, like you said before, you were thinking already, I wonder how am I going to live my life in this way? You didn't put yourself down. You didn't say, oh my God, this is the end. What am I going to do? You're already thinking, how am I going to live like this? And what am I going to do? That's your spirit. That's your character. So the first question is, how did it affect your work when you were going through that? And the second one is, what have you found? What solutions have you found to be able to still keep doing what you're doing?
Well, obviously I have to wear glasses, so here you can see
you look good.
My glasses.
You look good.
These are just reading glasses, and I have 10 pairs of these.
Just in case you lose,
Literally 10
9.
pairs.
Just in case you lose 9, you always have a spare one.
Well, it was mainly because, initially when I started going out, I because I'm not used to wearing glasses, I go out, I didn't have them. We go for dinner, I can't read the menu. I'd be like having my phone trying to magnify, what's on that menu. So then I started just packing, a pair of glasses in every coat and every jacket. As I like to wear these jackets. So just in case I don't forget it. I got into a few problems with people who thought I was messing around, and I said, look, because I'm also training to be an actor at the moment. I can't read some of the scripts. What can't read it? Yeah. So initially that was a major problem for me. Now I'm getting used to it, and I'm thinking, should I still go ahead and get the other surgery? Because what he'll have to do is make one eye what we call myopic. And to induce short-sightedness in one eye, and the eyes will adjust. But then some other things have happened since, which might make it impossible. So I've developed astigmatism in the eyes. So yeah. So obviously I found workarounds, and with the latest software, the voice component has got much better. So when I used to listen to stuff, I used to have like Microsoft Word on in the background, and it would literally be translating and writing everything down in Microsoft Word, which is actually a little secret for people. That's how I was able to produce notes really quickly. And people always say, "Oh, can I have your notes?" So what I would was have the transcript. Obviously, I had to edit it because Microsoft just writes it like this.
Yeah.
So I have to put it to format it into paragraphs and so on. But that's got much better with the AI available, and in fact, Microsoft's now integrated it into their Office suite. So those were a few workarounds. I have a pair of glasses in every.
I have a pair of glasses always with you, and then the voice notes.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear from you. What piece of advice would you give to other people that are in business and they are going through health challenges? Because I think that for us as entrepreneurs, business a lot of time takes priority over our health or over our body. We love the work that we do. We push forward. We have
Yeah,
business
yeah.
such a big part of our life. So what piece of advice would you give?
So first of all, when I felt something was wrong with my eyes, which I did, I should have really pushed it a lot more, because the opticians couldn't see what was wrong. Now, I knew there was something wrong. I could see shimmering in the background and stuff. So one, I should have pushed it. And I remember I was at Boots and they said, "No, we can't see anything." And I said, "No, there is something wrong with my eyes." And when I pushed it, eventually they got to the bottom of it. They got a manager, then they got the manager's manager. So when you feel something is wrong, you're probably right, especially when it comes to your health. And you know, health is important, because without your health, you can't work. So what's the point of working all hours if your health is being impacted? I think COVID taught people that more than anything else. With like, if you're in the mental health business, COVID was a godsend to you. All my friends with mental health businesses suddenly got tons and tons of clients, corporate clients, helping employees get to grips with some of the isolation impacts and so on. So yeah, I would find ways I would say, as an entrepreneur rather than a business person, you you almost feed on negativity. Like, if somebody says you can't do something, you're thinking, yes, I can, just nobody's found a way to do it yet. And if you want to take that challenge, especially when it's personal to you, yeah, you want to find a solution to that. And then if you can be bothered as an entrepreneur and you find that solution, you might think, hey, nobody's found the solution before. Why don't I sell it? Why don't I create a coaching business on how I overcame this particular problem, which nobody else has found a solution to? I don't know if I've answered your question.
No, absolutely you did, because it is about the mindset that you have coming into it. And one is to turn adversities into opportunities, which is thinking about, okay, if I've got this adversity and I'm able to overcome it and I'm able to go over it, how can I help others? And maybe there is a business there even.
Yeah.
And then the other part is also,
well, I mean, they do say that in every opportunity, in every adversity, there's an opportunity, there's a gift, if we can see it.
Yeah. And yeah. I want now to, and also the other point that you made is about the trusting yourself. And I think that goes well in life, health, business. Whenever we have some challenge or there is something off, then there is a signal there. So trust yourself, because you know your life, you know yourself better than anyone else. So trust yourself in that moment. I now want to move more on the business side, because also last year you not only had personal challenges, but you also had business challenges. And I would love to know alongside now you're already dealing with personal stuff, and now you have the business stuff piling on to the other one, then you have other challenges piling
I
on
think
top
it
of
was
each
the
other.
heartbreak of losing someone I was with for several years that really, like, I just didn't get out of bed for a little while. And I'd be sitting wherever I was, and if I'm alone, I would just burst into tears, really. Like,
Mm.
so I think that really floored me as a, and again, so we've talked about a health impact on your business, but emotional impacts also mess you up a little bit. My daughter was also diagnosed with stage 2 cancer as well, so there's a lot of emotional stuff, and I just didn't want to get out of bed. In fact, some days I didn't. I just stayed in bed. Yeah.
How did you how did you get out of that situation? Because when you have so many challenges stacking on top of each of the other ones, of course there were days that you didn't want to get out of bed and you didn't get out of bed, but there were other days that you said, no, I'm actually, like, you found something within yourself. So either what do you do or what helped you to turn
Yeah,
through?
yeah. So I have a belief that if you suffer like a loss, that you should experience the grief. I'm not one of these people who said, there's plenty of fish in the sea. I don't think it's like, you've spent a long time with someone who's very precious to you, and you need to have that grieving period. Uh, Once somewhere along the line, as an entrepreneur, no matter what we're feeling, we just have to say, okay, I need to get out of bed and get on with some stuff now. That's really important. So that's somewhere along the line, I had to just get out of bed and think, okay, I've got some financial challenges, and I really need to deal with them because they're now piling up. The longer you leave something,
Mm.
they just compound. And some of the financial challenges I've had has mainly to do with the government has changed the laws on the way property works and mortgages, with the massive increase in mortgages and so on. So, Mary, just can I ask a quick question?
Mhm.
Um, can I have a minute to answer the door, or should
We
I?
are live.
Yes.
We are
Hello,
live.
people.
We are live on Facebook
I've
and
got
on
someone
YouTube and other
banging on my
places. So
door, and I'm thinking, what are you doing?
I would prefer not, if it's
All right.
possible. Could keep going.
Hello, live people.
We actually had a comment now from Camelia, which is watching. It said, nice to see you both, and also she mentioned that we need and have to grieve for our losses, and that's a really important part of the healing process.
Mm.
On in this part, and giving yourself the space, to go through the emotions, and I think that sometimes as entrepreneurs we can have this idea, or just move on to the next thing and keep busy, not to deal with the grief, or not to deal with the pain. So you mentioned that in a few more in some moments you were able really um, to find that strength. So in particular in those days where you know they were the lowest days, was there something that you were doing to find that energy to get out of bed and to actually get done with other things that were important?
Um, so, yeah, so we're talking about self motivation here, and I need to emphasize self motivation. Uh, we have responsibilities, and that's it. I've got responsibilities to my team at Opportunities. I've got responsibilities to my family. My daughter was obviously going through a hard time herself. I've got responsibilities to myself, really. So it's not just physical and mental and emotional health. I've also got to look after my finance and the businesses where, because of government changes in the law, I've sent my accounts with to my accountant. I said, look, without any expenses, I'm literally losing 16,000 a year because of just pure government changes in the way mortgages and properties in your personal name is taxed. So I had to do something about it, and yeah, you know, I would love to say, hey, get up every morning and think about things you're thankful for. Think of 5 things that you're thankful for. Just remember, under every cloud there's a silver lining. But really, it was just an internal. I've got to get out and do it. Okay, I've had 3 or 4 days of crying and just staying under my blanket and so on, but I can't live there. Well, I can have a little bit of self-pity and wallowing for a little while, but eventually I have to get up and live for today, and just try and get through every day until one day, the issues, the challenges that you're facing aren't there anymore. But I don't know if that makes any sense, because
Yeah.
many fish in the sea. Hey, have you tried this? Why do you always go out with this kind of person, Ben? Blah, 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 blah. And like I had so much advice, and I'm thinking, actually most of the advice is well-wished and well-meaning, but really sometimes you will never ever find out the reasons why a breakup happened, and even if they told you the truth, you probably wouldn't believe it anyway. So you just have to think, okay, I just need to sort out myself out, and if I never see anyone ever again, that's fine, and if I do, that's fine, but I just need to get out and sort myself out. There are people depending on you, really.
Yeah, I think that also, when you have responsibilities that are bigger than your current situations, where you made commitment to others, when you have other people depending on you, that gives you're not doing things anymore for yourself, because if you were just to do it for yourself, in that moment, you don't have the energy to do it just for yourself. But somehow, because there are other people involved, there are other responsibilities involved, now you can find that energy, you can find that extra, okay, you know what? Even today is not the day, but I got to do it. So let's get dressed and let's deal with it. And then let's go out of bed and let's get going, cry again. And I think that's a part of I appreciate what you said about the reality of the situation, because there are some moments in our lives where the positive thinking, where the affirmations, where they just they don't have any power in that moment. But what the power that we can find is something with ourselves and say, hey, I'm feeling bad, but I don't want to give up on myself, and I don't want to give up on the other people that they're trusting me, that they've trusted me, that they've put their that we're doing things with. To wrap up the interview, Ben, is there any particular message that you would like to leave people with, that are going through a tough time, or multiple tough times, and they seem that the end is nowhere near? What would you say to them?
Okay, so for a whole bunch of the various things I was going through, I spoke to loads of people. I listened to what they said about it. I was on Google. I was looking at different strategies from a business perspective, from a health perspective, from an emotional perspective. I was listening to YouTube podcasts on different components. One of the things that helped me the most, I think, was we have an annual conference for opportunities, and we did something called the Enneagram, and this was an official Enneagram training here. So what the Enneagram is, it's not it's a bit like a personality test, but it goes into the reasons why you are who you are today, and it looks at those components, and then you can think like, okay, this is why I am this way. What can I do to change it? Because if you're always behaving in a certain way, you're always going to get the same outcomes. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. So if you can find out what is causing you to behave in a certain way and deal with it, I know we could always say, hey, that's because this happened to me in childhood, but you need to do something about it. Either outsource that to other people to deal with it if it's a weakness, and also to strengthen. Embrace your weakness, but also to strengthen it, get better at not falling into the same traps. So probably that's the kind of advice I would say to people. And it's easy to say you're not alone, but really in some sense you are alone because nobody knows what you're going through. But in other sense, there are people around you who love you to pieces.
Yeah. And it's in those moments that we got to remind that to ourselves, because it feels, I think, sometimes that we are alone in those moments, and having and tapping into the people that really love us for who we are. These are the people that then they can help us go through these kind of situations. I've got a question from Camelia, which is if the test can be done by anyone, and if it's possible to have a link. I don't know if you have any resources on this.
Yeah, there's lots of. If you just Google Enneagram, spelled ENNEAGRAM, there's a lot of free tests for that. But the official test gives you a much deeper report. It costs, I don't know, some pennies, pounds, like $50 or $100. I don't know. Mm-hmm. And you are. There's a podcast which is free, which goes through the different types on the Enneagram and their strengths, their weaknesses, and how they interact with people and what they need to look at or look out for. So I can try and find out where it is, but if you just search for Enneagram podcast, there's a whole set of them which I was working through on Spotify. And one of my business partners has now become an Enneagram coach because they found it really beneficial to them. They found out why some of their businesses were going wrong as a result of going through that Enneagram coaching, and decided to become an Enneagram coach themselves. So if you need a coach in that area, then hey, here I am.
There you go. So
just kept
actually she said that she found the link as well, and right. If you can also go back, if you can send me later maybe like the links of that coach, and or if you can find the podcast and then send them over, then I'll put it in the show notes when we are publishing this as a podcast. Ben, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you also for your vulnerability. Thank you for sharing also your advice, what you went through, because when we give away the Grit Award, is a very, on our side, is almost like a difficult choice to make. It's always a difficult choice because who am I to judge what's tougher for someone or another person?
Exactly.
That's why it is difficult. What made us choose and say, actually, Ben, no, this is yours. Not only the amount of things that you had to go through, but also the way that you were able to bounce back from one knock after the other, after the other, after the other. And this is to celebrate, and this is for you, but also to acknowledge everyone that right now is listening or watching or part of the GTeX family that is going through a hard time, is going through a tough time, and at the same time they decided to find something within themselves to be stronger than that, and to find, as we say, the light at the end of the tunnel. So thank you for being that voice, Ben, because that's
a pleasure. And Simone, as I said, over that time, just spending time planning and thinking about things, my finances are more or less being reversed. And I think I shared with you, this is the only time in my life I've actually had $1 million in the bank. Like, I'm just thinking, wow, this is crazy. I mean, I won't have all that money by the end of April, but it was just like, by the way, you don't feel anything. There's no feeling that I thought I'd feel really great. I don't.
Still the same. It's numbers.
It really is just
Is
numbers.
numbers in an account. I know. I understand that. I understand. I am. It's weird. We chase that figure, or we chase some figures to have in our account, and then when they are there, like,
It's like,
oh.
oh, I just go to the pub with my mates or go for a
It's like life as usual, business as
yeah,
usual.
it really was like that.
But
Yeah.
I think
So
that if we want to see in a, like on the achievement side or on a personal side, the ability of uh, or the message that is for your friend, for everyone else, for me included, is that things can turn around, and things turn around. They go in flows, and as much as we have tough moments, we have great moments. So let's be strong in the tough
yeah,
moments and be grateful for the great moments, and then life goes on.
and
And
face up to the challenges because you know if you don't face up to those challenges, they're just going to stay there. That's it.
mm,
So you might as well deal with it as soon as you can.
absolutely.
It's it.
Well,
Since winning the award, I think the award must have been a lucky kind of charm. Like so much stuff has turned around. Health wise,
I'll take it. Can I take a
my
bit of credit
daughter's
for it?
no longer. She did a non-traditional way of dealing with the cancer. Now it's gone into remission.
Awesome.
So just so much great stuff has happened since the start of 2023.
And you deserve it, Ben. I know you as a person. And for everyone that doesn't know you, like, make sure you connect with Ben. It's an incredible human being. If you
Really,
are interested in business, he really understands and knows business. But overall, he's just an incredible person to connect with. So I'm destroying the microphone while I'm talking. So make sure you connect with Ben. The links are on the social media, are on the description. So where you can connect with Ben on Instagram and on LinkedIn. If you have not subscribed to the podcast, make sure you subscribe to the show as well. Thank you for being watching or listening live, and as well as if you're listening to the recording on our podcast. And until next time, always remember that together we grow exponentially. Ciao.
bye.